Om Saram to you all. On behalf of Set Aside Service Organisation of New Zealand and of Bay of Plenty and Waikato region, I welcome you all to this special occasion, Lord Krishna's birthday celebration. I offer my most loving and humble pranams at the lotus feet of our beloved Bhagwan, Sri Sathya Sai Baba. Let's start with the Lord's Prayer. O Lord, take my love and let it flow in fullness of devotion to Thee. O Lord, take my hands and let them work incessantly for Thee. O Lord, take my soul and let it be merged in one with Thee. O Lord, take my mind and thoughts and let them be in tune with Thee. O Lord, take my everything and let me be an instrument to work for Thee. My topic for today is the spirit of selfless service. So we start with Dharma. We all have different types of duties and responsibilities towards our family, our society, our spiritual life, and our Dharma, righteousness. We are one big family. We depend on each other for our existence. We cannot exist alone. Therefore, we should work for the good of all. That is what Dharma essentially is, to perform our duties. We all live in this world, and if we all follow our own individual ideas and imaginations, there will be clashes of interest all the time, and men will be mentally and physically forever fighting each other. And so the whole world of life will be a battle of fighting for nothing. We all are different. We think in different ways, and we all have our individual needs. But if each of us goes his own way, when we are together, there will be clashes of interest all the time. So we should get together to work in ways and means whereby each one of us will be able to make a sacrifice for our society and for the good of all. Therefore, we need to have regulations. The rishis incorporated these laws into spiritual living for us to practice from our free will. By nature, we will do the right thing. That is what Dharma is about. When we do the right thing, we will benefit from it, and ultimately our society will also benefit as well. Another type of law is a law that is imposed on us with the police and the army to force us to follow it. But in spite of all these external forces imposed on us, we still do not live peacefully, because our nature is like that. To practice some discipline is essential. The Vedas, on the other hand, state that it is good to have knowledge, that we must have knowledge, but that knowledge alone is not enough, that we have to enforce some discipline on ourselves so that we will become morally and ethically elevated. When we just talk all the time, others will not follow. And we have to put some pressure on so that they will follow. The nature of human beings is like that, and that is why we have so many laws. Therefore, the rishis prescribe dharma, which does not say that we must not destroy, but that all is divine. And when we know that all is divine, we will not destroy. It is as simple as that. So what is the highest perfection? Interdependence is when each of us fulfills our duties as a father, a mother, a daughter, a son, and so on, as part of our society, a part of everything. When we perform duties with the attitude of not thinking of any selfish rewards, but as an obligation, as a contribution to life, that spirit will develop an inner detachment. By performing these types of duties, our mind becomes pure, our nature becomes pure, and then we become detached from this material world. Attachment arises when we only act for our own selfish requirements, our position, and so on. When we think of our duties towards our family, our society, our religious life, and our dharma, we do not become self-centered, but start to think more about others trying to do things for others, that is what is called seva, selfless service. Through the spirit of selfless service, we become detached and our mind becomes purified. So the essential teaching of Bhagavad Gita is to do seva. Lord Krishna said that through that spirit of selfless activities, when we have nothing to gain and nothing to lose by not doing, performing seva all the time to our family and so on, we attain that height of realization whereby our mind becomes absorbed in God. Lord Krishna advises us, therefore, always to perform with the spirit of detachment, that the action which has to be done, then we attain to the highest perfection. Lord Krishna explained that when we think only about ourselves all the time and forget everyone else, we become bound to things. And as a result of that attachment, all kinds of obstacles come into our life. Therefore, this is not the way for mankind to find peace and happiness. The only way we can find happiness is through detachment, because whenever there is attachment, there is suffering. Attachment is the cause of suffering. And where there is detachment, there is peace and harmony. There is everything, because with the spirit of sacrifice comes non-attachment. And where there is sacrifice, everyone gains. But when we are self-centered, thinking only about ourselves, no one likes us. No one likes selfish people. Lord Krishna said that there is no place in this world for people who do not make sacrifices. Therefore, Lord Krishna said, always perform action with the spirit of non-attachment. So what we need is role models. Whatever great people do and accept as authority, others will follow. Spirituality is not just talking. It must express itself in our actions and in our attitude. For it is through example that we can teach, not by just talking. The great people are an example to follow, showing others the way they must walk. So we must work for our family, for our society, and for our dharma. And by engaging in these types of activities all the time, our mind will become pure. When our mind becomes pure, God will help us. To make a sacrifice is the greatest thing that we can do. As someone said, selfless service is like a tree. We nurture and water it, and when the tree grows, we will enjoy it because we have seen the tree from the beginning. We have cared for it. That is real dharma. The basis of dharma is to sacrifice. Sai Baba says, the word dharma, which is really bound up with infinite variety of meanings, is regarded in common usage as referring to actions like charity, performing good deeds, and discharging one's duties. But this relate only to external actions. Dharma is external, the same for everyone, everywhere. It expresses the significance of the inner Atma. The birthplace of dharma is the heart. What becomes from the heart as a pure idea when translated into action is dharma. The true dharma of every human being is to make every endeavor to realize the divine. Dharma should lead to self-realization. The family is the basis, the root of our society. What our family is, that is what our society becomes. Particularly when the children are very small, we need to teach them by example. Because if we do not do that when they are small, we will lose control. So Lord Krishna said that we have multiple responsibilities. Not one, but responsibilities towards our family, our society, our religious life, and our dharma. That is selfless service. If we are like that, our life will be happy and our society will prosper. So the emphasis in the Bhagavad Gita is that when we follow the principles, the ethics and the sadhana, meditation of the Bhagavad Gita, our life will be definitely become uplifting, we will experience peace, and our society will be in order. The Bhagavad Gita is an epic poem about life, death, love, and duty. From the people who settled in the river valleys in India and developed a sophisticated culture thousands of years ago. It is a half-inch thick poem embedded in the middle of a 6-inch thick poem, the Mahabharata, a masterpiece about the heights and depths of human soul. To read the Bhagavad Gita is to swing back and forth smoothly between the head and the heart, between the worldly and the spiritual, curving between gaining knowledge and applying in today's real world. In this swing from humanness to godliness lies the Gita's sacred penetrating power, its ability to lift and move us. Sometimes a thought arises, what our nation would have been without the Gita? What remains if we eliminate Srimad Bhagavat, Ramayana and Bhagavad Gita from our culture? Can we imagine Indian culture without these holy books? They make our invaluable treasure, of which the realization and possession has elevated us to the heights of supremacy in the world. In every major age, God comes as avatar and teaches the Gita to initiate us into self-knowledge and dispel the covering which hide our divine nature. 5,000 years ago, God came as Krishna to render this song of truth at the time of great moral decline. At that time, he gave the Gita in order to rescue Arjuna, and through him all of mankind, from the fog of illusion and attachment. In this age, he has come again as Sai Baba to give us this sacred teaching at another time of great turmoil and declining values. Sai Baba says, Krishna had to encounter obstacles from the very cradle right up to the finish of his life on earth. Unfounded abuse and defamation followed him at every step. Demons who could not tolerate the light and the love that he cast around him inspired to tarnish his name and obstruct his mission. They tried to bind him, to foil his plans and distort his instruments, but truth triumphed and falsehood stood exposed and disgraced. Truth may be clouded for some little time by the fog of slander, but victory is certain. The forces of hate will be defeated by their own tricks. They dig for their own downfall. Their action results in reactions, damaging themselves. Krishna lived all his years singing and dancing in the joy which was his very nature. He was humming a tune within himself all the while, whether he was on a flower bed or at a battlefield. Baba says, I too am unaffected by praise or blame. My bliss never suffers reduction. Baba says, where there is love, there is Ananda. Where there is Ananda, there is music. That is the reason why Krishna sang the Bhagavad Gita. Love knows no fear, no untruth, no anxiety, no grief. Baba says, I am love. I shower love. I share love. I am pleased with love. Baba says, love is God. Love is love. That is the message of Sri Krishna. Saram and thank you.
छोटी छोटी गैया छोटे छोटे गाँव छोटी छोटी गैया छोटे छोटे गाँव छोटू सुमीर साई मदन गोपाल छोटू सुमीर साई मदन गोपाल छोटी छोटी गैया छोटे छोटे गाँव छोटी छोटी गैया छोटे छोटे गाँव छोटू सुमीर साई मदन गोपाल छोटू सुमीर साई मदन गोपाल छोटी छोटी गैया छोटे छोटे ग्वाल छोटी छोटी गैया छोटे छोटे ग्वाल छोटो सुमीरो साई मदन गोपाल छोटो सुमीरो साई मदन गोपाल छोटी छोटी गैया छोटे छोटे ग्वाल छोटी छोटी गैया छोटे छोटे ग्वाल छोटो सुमीरो साई मदन गोपाल छोटो सुमीरो साई मदन गोपाल आगे आगे गैया पीछे पीछे ग्वाल आगे आगे गैया पीछे पीछे ग्वाल बंसी बजावे मेरा
गैया दूध पीवे ग्वाल, घास खावे गैया दूध पीवे ग्वाल, मखन खावे मेरो मदन गोपाल, मखन खावे मेरो मदन गोपाल।
छोटी छोटी गैया छोटे छोटे ग्वाल, छोटी छोटी गैया छोटे छोटे ग्वाल, छोटो सो मेरो साई मदन गोपाल, छोटो सो मेरो साई मदन गोपाल।
छोटी छोटी सखियां मधुबनवा, छोटी छोटी सखियां मधुबनवा, रस रचावे मेरो मदन गोपाल, रस रचावे साई मदन गोपाल।
छोटी छोटी गैया छोटे छोटे ग्वाल, छोटी छोटी गैया छोटे छोटे ग्वाल, छोटो सो मेरो साई मदन गोपाल, छोटो सो मेरो साई मदन गोपाल।
फूल वाला गोपरी पाला, नाचो नाचो नंद लाला, नटखट साई गोपाला।
बाला गोपरी पाला, नाचो नाचो नंद लाला, नटखट साई गोपाला।
फूल वाला गोपरी पाला, नाचो नाचो नंद लाला, नटखट साई गोपाला।
बाला गोपरी पाला, नाचो नाचो नंद लाला, नटखट साई गोपाला।
छोटी छोटी गैया छोटी छोटी ग्वाल, छोटी छोटी गैया छोटी छोटी ग्वाल, छोटो सो मेरो साई मदन गोपाल, छोटो सो मेरो साई मदन गोपाल।
छोटी गैया छोटे छोटे ग्वाल, छोटी छोटी गैया छोटे छोटे ग्वाल, छोटो सो मेरो साई मदन गोपाल, छोटो सो मेरो साई मदन गोपाल।
छोटी छोटी सखियां मधुबनवा, छोटी छोटी सखियां मधुबनवा, रस रचावे मेरो मदन गोपाल, रे रस रचावे मेरो मदन गोपाल। छोटी छोटी सखियां मधुबनवा, छोटी छोटी सखियां मधुबनवा, रस रचावे मेरो मदन गोपाल, रस रचावे मेरो मदन गोपाल।
छोटी गैया छोटे छोटे ग्वाल, छोटी छोटी गैया छोटे छोटे ग्वाल, छोटो सो मेरो साई मदन गोपाल, छोटो सो मेरो साई मदन गोपाल। मखन खावे मेरो मदन गोपाल, रस रचावे मेरो मदन गोपाल, रस रचावे